like you clearly indicated, I think yesterday I decided to raise a concern about the conduct of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And these concerns are not personal in nature. And there's the need for us to situate the discussions in that context. I think that it has to do with the office itself as Office of Special Prosecutor. But you see, in relation to the SML matter, I think that this is not the first time we are discussing this issue around this table. Indeed, thanks to the good works of the likes of Manasseh Suhuyini and some journalists from the Fourth Estate, they first brought the matter to light under the presidency of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So it added to the litany of corruption cases under the erstwhile administration. So by 2024, I think that Ghanaians were fed up. And they knew that there was the need for us to have some measure of accountability when it comes to many of these infractions or alleged infractions as far as conduct in public offices are concerned. Roland, even before that, as a republic, we raise concerns about the nature we deal with corruption in this country. And that predates Nana Addo's presidency, and even President Mills, and of course, President Kufuor as well. So there's that general consensus, at least in principle, that there's the need for us to find an acceptable way of ensuring political accountability in this country. I want to believe that that was what led to the discussions as to whether indeed the Attorney General's office is actually truly independent or not. Many campaign promises were made at the back of that eventually led to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the MPP proposing the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And the cardinal arguments they canvassed to support that initiative was the issue of independence of the office. That is far from political interference or whatsoever. And I remember vividly that many of us raised a concern that the issue with this country is not about lack of institutions to deal with political corruption or corruption in public offices, but more to do with commitment on the part of all of us, especially those who are entrusted with the responsibility to lead. We argued then that the fact that you are going to create a special prosecutor will not make him immune to such political interferences, simply because you are saying so in an act of parliament. And there was the need for us to rather retool and reposition the Attorney General to be able to effectively deal with many of these cases of corruption. In any case, it was at the back of those concerns that we even set up the institutions like IOCO and BNI.
FIC.
And Financial Intelligence Commission and the like, Center, right? So, as to whether or not, indeed, we needed an Office of Special Prosecutor, was something many of us thought that it was needless. It was coming to add to the public sector inertia that we've been dealing with as a country. But albeit, we are here today. After more than 5 years of its establishment, have we gotten to a stage where we need to take stock and actually ask ourselves the most difficult questions as to whether indeed that office was truly relevant? And there's the need for us to continue to fund that office in the name of the taxpayer. We should not run away from that discussion. And Roland, from where I sit, I still maintain that what we have done with the creation of that office is simply to obstruct the quest for accountability rather than bolster it.
Oh, really?
Clearly.
How do you come to those conclusions, SML Suhuyini?
Not long ago, we had concerns by the minister responsible for Justice and Attorney General, his deputy, the Honorable Dr. Justice Sai, about even a request, a simple request, to the Office of Special Prosecutor for him to hand over a docket in this same matter to the AG to be able to action.
No, but the OSP replied swiftly.
Yes, swiftly. He told the whole nation that they needed time
Sure.
to give and that they were working on the docket. When at the same time, even prior to that, many were advocating that indeed it was even possible for us to bring charges against Ken Ofori-Atta in absentia. He did not budge. Only for the Deputy Attorney General to make it public that, look, we've been chasing him for the docket for some time now. He's not responded. Today, suddenly, after the assurances that a docket will go, he has gone to file charges in absentia. So what happens to that docket? Is it an open admission that he has lost interest in getting Ken Ofori-Atta extradited to Ghana?
Oh, even by these counts that is
absolutely,
preferred.
Because we need to know. His first line of action was to get him in. And when the fire came, he indicated to all of us that, look, he's working on the docket and that the docket will be given to the AG's department. What has happened? We need to know. Sense of accountability. And Roland, the question again we should ask is whether indeed the issue of perceived political interference has been dealt with the creation of that office. And if it has not been dealt with the creation of that office, then we need to face the hard truth as a country and begin to apply brakes and roll back that initiative. Because one, we are talking about non-interference from the political class. Remember, when Martin Amidu resigned, somewhere in November 2020, I remember clearly that it was in the heat of the campaigns. I was somewhere around the former Minister of Finance's constituency, Dr. Amin Adam Anta, when the
That's
issue...
Karaga.
Yes, around Karaga, yeah, brilliant. Karaga constituency, when the issue of his resignation came to us. And Roland, he said one thing, and I think that there is a need for us to go back to it. The bedrock of the formation of the office had to do with non-interference. In his epistle, he indicated that the presidency had attempted to influence when he called him and demanded that he should accept a response from the Attorney General.
Hansa, what's your point
from the Minister of Finance.
What's your point?
I'm simply telling you that the whole issue of political independence, what's the name? Non-interference, when it comes to the fight against corruption, that formed the basis for the establishment of that office, was in itself downplayed by the very president who instituted same and argued same. Because Nana Addo was the first president to interfere. So that tells you that the issue of interference goes beyond the basis that eventually led to the formation of that office. And we need to get to the roots of many of these concerns, not through the establishment of different institutions. It has to do with political ethics, responsibility, and accountability on the part of the fourth estate, especially the media. It is not through the creation of such bodies. Because whichever way you look at it, politicians will always be politicians. They will attempt to interfere.
Really?
Absolutely. It doesn't happen only in Ghana.
So politicians now are interfering?
I'm telling you that politicians in the past interfered.
In the present?
Absolutely not. There's no evidence when it comes to the work of the Office of the Special Prosecutor that politicians are interfering, Roland.
I see.
And that is the reason why I am having this discussion, because if care is not taken, Ghanaians will begin.
Performing.
Ghanaians will begin to question even the relevance of the many existing institutions, not just the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And the burden is on this new administration, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because the issue has never been the absence or otherwise of corruption, because Ghanaians are convinced that politicians engage in corruption. And we have the institutions to fight corruption. The issue has to do with trust. Whether indeed, Roland, I beg you, give me like 2-3 minutes, I'll learn.
I'm waiting for you.
Whether indeed we have what it takes to deal with the issue decisively. But I do not have any measure of confidence in the Office of the Special Prosecutor to be able to do that. What I see is that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, unfortunately, has become obstructive, even in government's quest for political accountability, as far as the last regime is concerned. He may not be doing so deliberately, but it tells you that there's a certain degree of conflict that clearly, if care is not taken, will distance this government from many of the accountability issues that we raised. And the Ghanaian people demand accountability of us. Because with what he's doing with the SML matter, I have read the charges, Roland, 78 charges. And the timing of the release of the charges. This was after his...
You mean counts?
Yes, sorry, counts.
78
counts. Correction. Yes, 78 counts. That has been released. And I've read it, and I was wondering, where is this coming from? 78.
He's doing his work. Because, for example, you go on Facebook, you go and write, the OSP has designed an elaborate plan to free Ken and Co. We must stop him before he becomes a liability. Then you even add an exclamation, yo.
Look at
how do you mean by that, Hamza Suhuyini?
And I'll explain. I will respond to that. Look at how he started. In the morning, yesterday, the news broke that he had sent an invitation to the likes of Martin Pebo, Senior Martin Pebo, and TV3 to appear before him because of allegations made on this platform. And they were not just mere allegations, because Senior Martin Pebo indicated that he was going to petition for his removal. He decided to arrogate some sense of power to himself, to attempt to investigate the very allegations and the open declaration by Senior Martin Pebo that he was going to...
No, you cannot make those conclusions.
Petition. No, I can, because it is backed by facts. That was what happened, Roland. Now, when the backlash wasn't favorable, in less than 4 or 5 hours, he decided to deflect attention with an announcement of these counts. That's one. And this is not the first time he has done that. Again, remember in his engagement, his issues with the deputy AG, when the nation started having discussions about the relevance of that particular office and his conduct, in a matter of a day or two, he proceeded to release this same SML report, indicting many other people, attempting to deflect attention on the part of his office as far as the demands of accountability.
So, do you think that was what he was doing?
I think so. I think the gentleman is simply engaged in politics and taking this nation for a ride.
These are serious comments you're making.
These are serious comments because issues of corruption must be serious on the mind of any Ghanaian. And I think that the time has come for us to confront the politics of that institution. It was created as a political response and to score some political points under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. So I am not surprised that even those who head that institution have themselves assumed that political posture. And there's the need for us to say it as it is, Roland. We cannot continue on this tangent, because what is happening is that if this gentleman goes and is not successful with the SML matter, it ties the hands of the Attorney General's office to deal with the same matter. So the question we should be asking is that what is the extent of collaboration between him and that of the AG's office? Because in any case, even his act, the Establishing Act, still makes him amenable to Article 88(4) of the 1992 Constitution, which says that some measure of authority when it comes to prosecutions must emanate from the office of the Attorney General. So these are critical questions we should ask. Since its establishment, can we boast of something substantial in terms of successes that has emanated from that office, Roland?
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Right.
And so we must be bold enough to have these discussions and situate it in a way that puts responsibility squarely on that office, so that Ghanaians will know that this office has suddenly become obstructive, not just to them, but even to this government's agenda to ensure accountability as far as the officers are concerned.
Dr. Zato, what